my name is Mike Caldenes. You guys can just call me Sir or Mr. G. I'll be going through the coding with you for this term, and I'm sure we will have a great time together and beyond just to learn how to code our groups.
So what happened?
I'm not sure what happened, but I'm back. Let's quickly share that again. Okay, so like I mentioned, my name is Mike Caldenes. You guys just can call me Sir or Mr. G. And I'm not sure how many of you have, or how many of you are new. Maybe you can just type for me in the chat box quickly, me, or if I can see if you are new. There we go, we have somebody new, Kinsley. Welcome, and you guys can share this with your friends and invite them to join me, your Don family, me. Okay, so this class, Malik, also seems like we have a lot of new students. Okay, and we are, in this class, we have progressed a bit already. So, but I'm going to go through everything with you step by step, and hopefully we can get you guys all up to speed. So today we are going to focus on conditionals, okay? Conditionals, if else, with our if else block, okay? As we go through it, I'll explain to you exactly what it is all about. So let's quickly move on to this. This is what our focus will be today. So we will translate spoken language, conditional statements into the program, and we will solve puzzles using a combination of looped sequences and conditionals. Okay. I want to go through some things with you guys first before we go to code.org, so that I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Maybe you can type it for me. If you want to answer, then maybe you can just use the raise your hand, and I can see if I can unmute you and you can tell me. Let's quickly see. So the first thing that I want to know from you guys is, who can tell me quickly, what is coding? What do you remember from coding? What is it exactly? Let's see who can tell me, what is coding? Zoe. Hi, Zoe.
So,
hello, Sam.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. And how are you, Sam?
I'm good, thank you. So, Zoe, can you tell me what is coding?
Coding is when you give a computer certain instructions.
Wow,
or somebody.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Zoe. Well done.
Welcome,
yes, that's
sir.
exactly what it. That is exactly what it is. It is for us to give the computer or program an instruction, a command. So coding or programming is the process of creating instructions for computers using programming language. It's the way we talk to a computer. Well done, Zoe. That's a beautiful answer. Okay, now let me ask you guys the next question quickly. Who can tell me what is sequencing? Can anybody remember what is sequencing? These are big words, and these are the reason why I want to do the vocabulary is, remember when we do coding, people will start talking and they will call all these names, and if we don't understand what they are, then maybe we won't understand what they want us to do. So this is just for us to go through it together and then just to get an idea of what to expect when we talk about coding. Okay, so let's see. Is it Amali? Maybe I'm going to unmute you. You can tell us what is sequencing. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good, thank you. Can you tell us what sequencing is?
A sequence is a pattern.
It's a pattern. There we go. Very nice. Thank you very much. That is also, yes, a sequence is the process of combining things in a particular order. Now let's think of a storybook, and if an author took the storybook or he took all his sentences and he just threw them all in the book, we wouldn't know what the story is all about. He had to put them in a certain order to tell his story. And that is exactly what sequencing is. Putting a code in an order so that the computer or the program understand what to do. And I see Kinsley asked, how do you raise your hand? Kinsley, it is one of the, you will see you'll have some, let me just quickly, if you go to more, down at the bottom where you can look at your options, there's more. You'll see the first one is chat, then the next one is raise hand. Now, if you click on that button, it will show me a little hand that somebody wanted to say something. And then sometimes there will be more than one. So if I don't say your name, don't worry. I'm going to try and give everybody a chance to answer something or interact with me. But if I don't be discouraged. Type it out for me in the chat box, because remember, I've got many students on here. So sometimes I don't see all the hands, but we were still going to try and have as much fun as possible together. Okay, and I see they say, it doesn't matter, guys. I know that some of the students aren't new, and we do have new students. That's why I'm going to go through it slowly. And for those that have already worked on code.org, I know some students do the puzzles. They go out in front and they do the puzzles. That's okay. But for those of us that are new, we do it slowly together. And I keep posting the link in the chat box. So anybody can at any time go back to the puzzle where I am. And then we will just work on that together. So don't worry about that. So, okay, let's quickly look at the next thing. Who can tell me what is a condition? Does anybody know what a condition is? Does anybody know what a condition is? Let's see, Taryn. Taryn, I'm going to unmute you. You can tell us, what is a condition, Taryn?
Condition is like the weather and that, but if it's in a computer, it's like an order or something.
Okay, let's quickly see. Thank you very much, Taryn. Okay, now a condition is a statement that a program checks to see if it is true or false. Now, if true, an action is taken. Okay, so maybe the example we will do on code.org is, if there's a flower, the bee needs to make some or need to collect the nectar. But if there isn't, then something else needs to happen. So it is going to check something first. So if there is a flower, only then an action will be performed. If the condition is not there, then nothing will happen. Okay, so it is the program will check to see if the statement is true or false. If it's true, an action is taken. Otherwise, the action is ignored. Okay, well done, guys. You guys are so smart. Let me quickly see. The next one, oops, too far. Conditionals. Now, conditionals, I'm not just going to go through this one because I don't want us to run out of time today. Conditionals is statements that only run under certain conditions. Okay, so it's almost the same thing. The one is the action that is taken, and the other one is just the statement to check whether or not that condition is there. Okay, so today we're going to focus on these two blocks. Okay, these two blocks are called conditional blocks. Okay, so let's quickly see. I see somebody raised their hand. Just want to see who that was, if they have a question for me. Remember, guys, you can also type questions for me in the chat box because that's easier for me to see. But I am going to try and see as soon as somebody raises a hand if I can go to you and you can ask your question. Who was that? Zoe. Okay, Zoe, what did you want to ask? Is there something that you wanted to know?
No, sir.
Oh, okay, it was just by accident. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so these are the two blocks we're going to focus on today, and those are called conditional blocks. Now you will see in our block, it says if at flower. So that is only if there is a flower, do, and then we're going to put in the command. What do you need to do? If there's a flower, do this. So maybe, let's say you are walking in the garden and my command is if at flower, what do you have to do? Pick the flower, okay? But if you walk and I say stop and there is no flower, then you won't do anything, okay? So that is the condition. There needs to be a flower, otherwise you don't do anything. So let's read the code. Is an unconditional block, runs if a condition is true. The action will only take place if the condition is true. So otherwise, nothing will happen. But then maybe we do want something else to happen. This is where we find the if-else block. Okay, so we can use an if-else block if we want something else to happen. If the first condition is false. So let's use the example again of you walking in the garden and I say stop. At the pot, there's no flower. Then I say, okay, what else? Then you can say plant a seed. So I can say if at flower, do pick. If there's no flower, plant a seed. So then there will be a second action. So we can use it if we want something else to happen, if the first condition is false. If the first condition isn't met, the second condition will be performed. They will never be performed at the same time. It will be one or the other, okay? It will be one or the other, never both. Now, what I'm going to do, I think this will be a new block. Tabella said we don't have this with Sir Paul. Yes, I think this will be a new block we will introduce today. Okay, so I am quickly going to go to code.org. I just want to post the link for you guys. Control paste, there we go. There is the link. You guys can click on the link. It's always nice if you have a second device. It makes it a little bit easier. But if you only have one device, it sounds like a lot of you have done this before. Open two tabs next to each other. and you can look at what I do, and then you can follow me. Otherwise, guys, remember, we have new students as well. If you want to go out ahead and do some of the puzzles, you are more than welcome to do that. But let's help everybody, and I will post the link for every puzzle. So at any time, you can come back to exactly where we are. Okay, so I'm not going to play the video because the videos give us some problems on YouTube, but you guys can watch it at home. And then I'm going to go to puzzle number 2. And remember, I want you guys to interact with me, chat in the chat box, tell me what to do. Let's read this quickly. Okay, wait, before we read, I actually just want to go through our 4 main parts of code.org. Okay, we have 4 parts in code.org. There are only 3 over here. Or maybe I'll tell you when we go to the next slide, because there are only 3 of the parts here now. I'm going to read for you the instructions. The cloud is blocking the view. There could be a flower under the cloud. If there is a flower, the bee will need to collect nectar once. If there is a flower, the bee should, if there is not a flower, the bee should do nothing. Take a look at the code below. What do you think will happen after you click run? Okay, I'm going to read what the code says, and then you guys can just type for me A, B, C, or D. What do you think will happen? It says when run, repeat 3 times, move forward, and then if at flower, do get nectar. So what do you guys think? What is going to happen if I click run over here? Taryn says bee. It says the bee will move to the cloud and only try to get nectar if there's a flower underneath. Kinsley says C. The bee will move to the cloud and do nothing, no matter what. Zoe says B. Kwanda says A. The bee will move to the cloud and try to get nectar, no matter what. Okay, B. Okay, the correct answer, guys, will be B. Remember, this is if. If there's a flower, get nectar. If there's no flower, it won't try to do anything. Okay, so B, the bee will move to the cloud and only try to get nectar if there is a flower underneath. So let's see what happens. I'm going to click run. There we go. And it collected the flower or the nectar. Okay, so let's go on to puzzle 3. Okay, and now here's what I wanted to show you guys. Our 4 parts to code.org. We've got 4 parts. We've got this one where the little bee is. This is our, you can see run over here and step over here. It takes it step by step. This is our, what is the word I'm looking for? This is just where the code gets performed. Okay, then over here on top, we've got our instructions. Okay, instructions. This is the second part, what we need to do. Okay, then over here we have our toolbox. Our toolbox where it says blocks. Our toolbox we use to find all our commands, what we need to do to make our little bee move. And then part 4 is here workspace, and that is where we build our code. Okay, so I'm going to do the first one for you guys, and then from the next puzzle, so I'm going to ask you guys to help me. So I want you guys to focus quickly, get the idea of what I'm doing. We will always have a when run, because this is the run button over here. So when we click the button, then something needs to happen. Okay, so let's see first. It says more clouds. Check underneath every cloud to see if it is hiding a flower before you get nectar. If there is a flower underneath the cloud, the bee will collect or need to collect. Okay. Need to get nectar once. Remember, not all clouds hide the same thing. So first, what we need to do is we need to move. I want to explain to the guys that are here for the first time. Remember, you will see every block has an action. This one is move forward, turn right, turn left, get nectar, make honey. And then here's the if block I spoke about. If there's a flower, then we need to do something. And then here's a repeat block. The repeat block is nice if you want to do the same thing over and over again, okay? It is especially nice once you start doing an action more than 2 times. Because if I put in move forward and move forward, that will be the same as putting in repeat 2 times. And what do I want to repeat? Move forward. Okay. So I don't really use the repeat block if I only use or only going to perform 2 actions, because here we have 2 blocks and here we have 2 blocks. But if I wanted to move 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, then it's nice, because then I don't have to put in a new block every time. I can just put in 6 times and my little bee will move that many times. Okay, I hope you guys all understand. So for now, I want him to move over there. And then from there, I want him, because remember, look where our little bee is flying towards. He's looking right. I want him to turn to come down. But our commands don't have it down. So we have to turn our little bee so he faces down. So we're going to turn right to look down. And then we need to move our little bee down.
Sir, I did this one with Paul de Klerk.
Okay, yes. I'm actually just going to, like I said, we have a lot of new students. I understand some of you guys have done this one. I want you to be patient with me. Otherwise, if I start the if else right away, then maybe some of the other students won't understand. So that's why I'm quickly doing this one again. Okay. Thanks, guys. So
yes,
here we, thank you. So we're going to turn and we're going to move down. Move forward. Remember, it's not that we turned right and we're going to move down, and then we are on the flower. Now, if there is a flower, what do we need to do? Collect nectar. If there's a flower. If there isn't anything, nothing will happen. And then remember, he's going to move down again and do the same thing. So we can put in another one of these, or remember, that's the same action. We can just put in our repeat button. We can put in our repeat, put the if inside, because now we want to do it 2 times. We have to put the move inside as well. Otherwise, it's not only going to move once. Put the move inside, and then let's see what happens. Let's run it. Can everybody see the last square didn't have any, that doesn't have a flower in it? But because it's an if conditional, he doesn't need to do anything else. Okay. Moving on to puzzle number 4, and I'm going to put a link in there if anybody new joined us, or if somebody wants to come back to this one, level 4. Okay, now let's look at our instructions. Our instruction says you can only collect nectar from flowers, but you can check any space to see if there is a flower. If there is a flower under the cloud, under these clouds, the bee will need to collect. So we don't know if there are flowers. We need to check every block. So we're going to do the same thing over and over again. So we know we can use the repeat. And how many times are we going to repeat that? Let's see quickly. You can tell me in the chat box. How many times are we going to repeat that? Let's see who's first. Fastest finger. How many times are we going to repeat this action? There we go. Nokwanda was first. Amarli, Zivan, Zoe. Well done, guys. We're going to do this action 7 times. And first, what do we need to do? You can quickly tell me what is the first thing we need to do. We need to what action are we going to repeat 7 times? Let's see, you can tell me. What action are we going to repeat 7 times? There we go. Nokwanda was first again. Kalem, very nice. Move forward. Well done, guys. Yes, we're going to move forward. And then we need to check if there's nectars. But we don't know if there will be any. So that is why we are going to use the if. If there's a flower, what do? There we go. Omphile, we get nectar. Well done, guys. Awesome job. So let's quickly run it. See what happens. Run. Ooh.
Something's not working.
You know what is not working? Because I've got to repeat first. I actually have to move. Run. It is not doing anything. Let's see if I put this in here. Okay. Oops, it is working. It was just a bit slow. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it got stuck a little bit. Okay, but it is working. There we go. Let's see. Zivan raised his hand. Let's see. Zivan, do you have a question for us?
Yes.
Yes, what's your question?
It's not a question. It's just if there is black around the run button, it means you have to click it again. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot slow. Very slow.
Yes, it seems like we clicked it 3 times, but I don't know. Maybe it just got stuck a little bit, but that's okay. We moved on. Thank you, Zivan. Okay, guys, now puzzle number 5. In this puzzle, we know that every flower has exactly 1 nectar, but the flowers aren't spaced evenly. We don't really have to worry about that because remember our if button. Even if there is no flower, it just moves on. Remember, it checks to see if the condition is true. If there is no condition, then it just moves on. So we can check every square. So this one will be the exact same way we did the previous one. There are just no clouds. They just wanted to fool us to make us think that we need to check different squares. But we're going to do it the same way. We're going to do it 7 times. We're going to move forward. And we're going to check every block. If there's a flower, if there isn't one, remember it is false. Nothing will happen and we will get the nectar. So let's quickly run it again. There we go. Cool. Are you guys enjoying it so far? I know some of you have done this, but the new students, are you liking what you see? Are you enjoying it? Are you having fun? We've got a lot to learn. Now look here, this one is getting a little bit more complicated. We have to check all these. So who knows, or who can tell me, what are we gonna do? There we go. Caleb says, yes, I'm enjoying this lesson. And Zivan says, yes. So who can tell me, what are we gonna do first? What are we going to do first? We have to collect all the nectar using the few blocks using as few blocks as possible. Look, they're only giving us 10 blocks. We cannot use more than 10 blocks. So who thinks that they've got an idea of what to do? Okay. Caleb said move forward. And Zoe said move forward. Yes, we are going to move forward. But remember, we only have 10 blocks. Okay, and all the way down here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. So just moving one spot at a time and checking is going to make things very difficult for us because then we won't have enough blocks. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to use the repeat. I see Nokwanda said repeat. Yes, we're going to use the repeat. We're going to use the repeat button. And I see, let's see, somebody raised their hand again. Let's see. Okay, Zivan, tell us, what are we going to do?
You need to put a loop in a loop.
A loop in a loop. So what idea do you have? Do you have an idea for us?
Repeat 2 times.
Okay, repeat 2 times.
With a repeat 6 times inside.
With repeat 6 times. Okay, so I'm going to do what you say, and then we're going to check it. So let's move that one. Okay, Tala, we've got to repeat 2 times, and then we have a repeat 6 times. But tell us, Ivan, what are we going to repeat?
A move forward.
A move forward. Do we put it inside the 2 times or the 6 times?
Inside the 6 times.
6 times. Okay, and then what are we going to do?
You are going to say, if at flower, get nectar in the repeat 6 times.
Okay, so I'm going to show them. I'm just going to take this one out so that I'm going to put that one back. I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to keep it. Just want to explain to those that don't understand the loop inside the loop. But guys, remember the little b, Zivan is quite right by saying we're going to move 6 times. Remember, look at the blocks. There's 1, count them together, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so 6 times, and we're going to check every block. So move forward, and if there's a flower, get the nectar. Okay, that's what Zivan said. We're going to do that 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, Zivan, what are we going to do then? What next?
You need to put turn left inside the repeat 2 times under the repeat 6 times.
Okay, because you want to move down here, right?
Yes.
Okay, he wants to turn left. And are we going to repeat that
Under.
6 times, Lisa? Under. There we go. Remember, I just want to ask you guys to look at what he said. If we put it in here, the little b is also going to try and turn 6 times. But we don't want the b to turn 6 times. We only want him to turn over here. So we're going to take that one out and put that underneath. Okay, turn left. And then?
2 move forwards.
2 move forwards. 1, 2. Okay, and that will put our little b right here in the corner. Now, can everybody see this shape and this shape over here is going to be the same? And that is why Zivan said repeat 2 times, because everything the little b did over here, coming down and turning left, he's going to do the same, going up and turning left. So that is why Zivan said we're going to repeat everything 2 times.
You need to put another turn left under the move forward.
Yes, because we're going to turn left there. Here we're going to turn and we're going to turn there. So I want to quickly show them what will happen if we have a mistake. Okay, thanks, Ivan.
Bye.
Okay, so let's quickly check. Now, our little b goes 6 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then turns left, moves 1, 2 times. Now, oops. Tells us up here in our instructions, keep coding. Something's not quite right. And like Zivan said, remember now he's trying to do this all again, move forward. But first he needs to turn. He needs to turn and look up. So we're going to turn left again, like Zivan said. And let's try that again. Let's reset. Let's run it. There we go. Look at that. All the way around. And we finished our code. Okay, now I was just to make honey. I just want to make honey. Some of the clouds might have honeycombs under them. Be sure to check if honeycomb is hiding behind each cloud. If there is honeycomb, the bee will only need to make honey once. Okay, so now remember, now we're checking for honeycomb and not a flower. It's the same block. If everybody can see here, it's the same block. And if I go to the little drop down, it shows flower and honeycomb. But we know now we're not working with flowers. We are working with the honeycomb. So the first thing we need to do again is just move. Move forward 2 times. And then if the little cloud, if there is some honeycomb, we need to not get nectar, but we have to make honey. Okay, and then we're going to turn left. We're going to go look up, turn left, and then we're going to do the same thing. Move and check. So this is the same process, right? So who thinks that they can tell me, what am I going to do? Because remember, we only have 7 blocks. A loop in a loop. Look at Catherine. Catherine says a loop in a loop. Nokwanda says repeat. Okay, so maybe, so Catherine, you said a loop in a loop. So what am I going to do, Catherine? Repeat 2 times. What am I going to repeat, Catherine? Tell me quickly. I'm going to repeat everything 2 times. So I'm going to repeat everything because after we've turned, we are going to go up again 2 times and check. So we're going to repeat everything 2 times. Let's put it all inside. Let's run it. There we go. Well done, guys. You guys are so smart. Okay, now I think this is up to where everybody went with Teacher Paul, okay, with the if button. Now this is where we get the if else button. Okay. So remember, we had 2 actions in this lesson. We had moo, or we had a flower, and then we had to get nectar, and we had a honeycomb and make honey. So now this is where we're going to do both. Now both of them will be in our program. We're going to have flowers and honeycomb. So depending on which one is under the cloud would depend on the action we take. Okay, so remember, you guys can watch this video at home. I'm not going to watch it online while we're teaching. I'm going to skip it and we're going to look at the if else. Now you can think to yourself, if there's a flower, we're going to collect nectar, but if there isn't a flower, we're going to make honeycomb. Okay, so let's read the instructions together. It's always important to read our instructions. Sometimes a cloud covers a flower. Sometimes it covers a honeycomb. Use the if-else block to collect nectar at the flower and make honey at honeycomb. Remember, if there's a flower, the bee needs to get nectar once. If there is a honeycomb, the bee only needs to make honey once. Okay, so we are going to move forward 2 times. Move and move. Oh, let me quickly just, I want everybody to be here. Let's want to copy the link again for if anybody else is struggling. There we go. There's the link again. Monet, I see, ask for that. Okay, so we're going to move 2 times, and then if there's a flower, we're going to get nectar. But if there isn't a flower, we are going to make honey. Okay, so that is how the if-else works. 2 actions, only 1 action will be performed at a time. So if there's a flower, it will make nectar. But if there is no flower, then it is going to make honey. Okay, I'm just going to do this first one and then you guys can. There we go. So there was a flower and the condition was true. So nothing else needed to happen. Okay, so we're quickly going to do one more if else because I see we're almost out of time. And then from tomorrow, it will be all new. Then we can do it together. So look carefully at the code below. What do you think will happen? I want you guys just to, I'm going to read it for you. Type A, B, C, or D. What do you think will happen after you click run? Remember, there will only ever be 1 honeycomb or 1 flower. As we carry on coding, sometimes it will get more difficult that there might be more than 1. But for now, we just stick with 1 honeycomb or 1 flower behind each cloud. So we have repeat 3 times because there are 3 little blocks, 3 clouds. Move forward. If flower, get nectar. If else, make honey. So what will the answer be? A, the bee will get nectar at each flower and make honey at each honeycomb. B, the bee will try to get nectar from both flowers and honeycombs, or the bee will try to get honey from both flowers and honeycomb, or I don't know. So what do you type to me, A, B, C, or D? I think Catherine says A, Zivan says A. Track Tech, I may think maybe that's someone's iPad, or Caleb Junior is not sure, but Kinley is not sure, Kinsley is not sure. But yes, everybody, it's A, because remember at the flower get nectar. So the bee will get nectar at each flower, or make honey at the honeycomb. So yes, our answer will be A. And there we can see the first one was a honeycomb and the next 2 are little flowers. Okay, so what we're going to do tomorrow, we will just carry on from here. We're going to start our challenge puzzle tomorrow. It's one that's a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to ask you guys to help me out. But I'm so glad you guys joined me. Thank you for our old students that were so patient and that helped our new students get through this lesson. And then the new guys come back and we're going to learn some more, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Remember, you can use the same link. I'm going to post it for you. Maybe you can copy it quickly in the chat box. Copy it, and you can carry on practicing. So carry on practicing, see if you can solve it, and then tomorrow we can talk about it together. I just quickly want to go back to my slides. I want to give you some more information. I want to give you this quote quickly. This is from the guy, Mark Zuckerberg. He's the guy that made Facebook, okay? And he said, my #1 piece of advice is you should learn how to program. And that's what you guys are doing. Programming these days are used for everything. So this is the first step to us learning more about coding and moving into programming. Okay, and then here are some more information. If you guys want any questions, you can send it to our STEM Digital School at africateengeeks.co.za. And I didn't give you guys homework today because I know that there was some new students, but from tomorrow, maybe I'll give you some extra puzzles to try and solve for me, and then you can email them to me if you want. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a lovely day, guys, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.